Daddy Prince, you've said it all.
Hi,
So
Samaria.
where would you like me to
Daddy
contribute
Prince.
this on? Hi, teacher. Oh, hi, everyone watching. When it comes to this issue of like, I mean, you said it all. When it comes to people being sick or being a single parent, it comes with a lot of experience and a lot of things, you know, knowledge. It all depends on the basic for the singlehood. You know, there are some kind of single parents that would result as that would be some kind of an experience and where people learn their mistake and then move on. While some, like you rightly said, they still don't know, they still don't know. So even if you give them 20 years, they will still make that mistake. But then when it comes to people, you know, being or marrying divorcees, that's a choice. I mean, I think it's a typical Nigerian thing because overseas, people don't care how many kids you have. As a matter of fact, you'll be thinking like, oh, my marriage is about to end. Or you'll be thinking like, oh, I'm in my marriage for like how long? And most people will be looking at you like, are you all right? We're saying that we're in our fourth marriage, sixth marriage. You are just in one marriage. Especially you, they'll be like, something was wrong with you for you to have been in your first marriage, like in your first marriage for so long. When people are in their sixth and fifth marriages, so it's not even a big deal anymore. And like I said, so for example, let's say myself, there are certain things that I would see right now, and I don't need a soothsayer to tell me it's a red flag. You know. There are things that, and it's been helpful. It's not good at a point, but it's also good. It's not good in the sense that you kind of, it makes you, most people, it helps you to set a limit, okay? You set boundaries to certain things you don't want it to repeat again. But there are things that most people don't understand, especially when it comes to my gender. No woman would willingly leave a marriage. That's number one. You know, the other day you were saying that any woman that leaves a man, this snatching of a thing. I was just nodding my head because that's true. You know, nobody snatches your woman away from you. It's difficult for a woman to walk out of a marriage. Should a woman walk out of a marriage, first of all, we are, I mean, let's be real with ourselves. You see how you try to, men propose to women in public, the women seem overexcited, they are jumping up and down, they are telling everybody, oh, I'm engaged, he proposed. Look at the excitement. So let's be real to an extent. If someone was that happy to be called a miss, I mean, it's not easy for them to eventually come out from the same place that gave them joy, to come out from the same place that they were once excited over. So it doesn't give any woman happiness, joy to come out from something that she had wanted to be in. And even if it gives her joy at that moment, she wouldn't want it to be repeated. He wouldn't want it to be repeated. So for that reason, people tend to be extra careful, you know, before deciding the next thing, you know, the next step. And that, like I said, it has its, you know, cons and pros in the sense that you're extremely careful. And that way, when you see a red flag, you're able, both as a man, as a woman, both gender, you're able to detect it and tell yourself, this is not good. History is about to repeat itself. And at the same time, to some people, they'll feel like, oh, you're doing too much. He's being too picky. He's being too picky. Oh, his ego is too high. No, they are trying not to let the same mistake that happened before repeat itself. So that's how I see it. So people just marry. I don't mind if I were a man. What I'm looking at, like I said, you've already summarized everything, is not how many kids you have. The kids you have, are they well raised? Are they respectful enough? Are you doing your job as a mother? That's what matters. Are you doing your job as a father? What is your personality? Who are you? What are you going to give me that peace of mind, that joy? Are you willing to, you know, work with me? Are we willing to work with each other? That's what I look at. And if you don't have drama, that's fine. You don't have a lot of, especially, sorry, I forgot to say this. Being a single father, being a single mother comes with not being a single mother with different kids from different fathers. That one is complicated. I wouldn't do that. Because there are people who don't just have one, they have a lot. Dramas everywhere. So that one is different. Those people need to go and sit down and put their lives together. Because the problem there, the issue there is, in a bid to shame your ex, you jump into something else and you end up making the same mistake that you made. Before you know it, because it's the competition. You just trying to rush in there simply because you wish, oh, you think the person is better than the person you had. You're trying to tell him that, oh, you moved on. Tell her you have moved on. Before you know it, the mistake will repeat itself. And some people don't even define what it is they have. They're just there. They're carried away at the time. They're not. It's not defined. Before you know it, you have another child, and then the relationship ends, and you are left with another child. You know, by so doing, you have like 3 or 4 from different fathers, 2 different fathers. So those ones, one's beaten. I mean, I just
all right.
want to
Thank you
speak
so
for now.
much. Your
Do I
thoughts
go
in
next?
1 minute.
Okay.
By the way, I
What
love
topic? It's weak. Thank you.
anything we've said.
Yeah, you've spoken on a lot of things. You've spoken about marriage, parents making decisions for us. Okay, let me stick on the parents making decisions for us. Great topic, by the way. I must thank my parents for being like your mom, I would say. My parents were never the type to dictate for us what to become. They were always ready to just guide us. I remember when I told my dad I wanted to do mass communication after mentioning about 4 careers. The only thing he said was, those people, they trek, their shoes, they get who for ground. No. That's what he said. And then he said, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But today, he's enjoying it. And I think parents should actually be their kids' counselors and guardians. And about marrying single mothers, being a single mom is not a disease. It's not a crime. Most of these people did not desire to be single parents. Some of them, they got off bad relationships. And I think it's unfair judging them just because a relationship did not work. Would you rather have them dead in their previous relationships or have them alive and, of course, more experience? Because even without being married, I've been in few relationships, and I can say for a fact that working out of those relationships, I've learned a lot. And I think those people that are single parents and single mothers, those people are not dumb. Like you said, if they were good people, definitely now they are more experienced. And if I were to be a guy, I think I would go for a single mom. That way, she would get to cherish me even more, because nobody would want a second failed marriage. Nobody wants that, just like you rightly said. So I think people should stop the whole stigmatization. It's unfair, honestly.
Thank you so much, Ada, and God bless you. And Son.
Yes,
Lee.
yeah. I think I'm going to start with maybe referencing your daughter, because I think we've discussed this topic briefly before. I think in Africa, there's a big problem with parents trying to, obviously, Danielle, I believe that was your daughter's name. That's the way she put it. Parents trying to relive their life through their kids. You know, everyone, I mean, unless if you're lucky, everyone has been affected by it one way or the other. For example, my parents are in the medical fields. My dad wanted me to study medicine. I hate blood. I cannot stand blood. It doesn't make any logical sense. But for them at the time, it's like, oh, we're in the UK, so kids is doing medicine. This one is doing engineering. You're going to make a lot of money out of it. They've already planned your life for you. But that's not your calling. So if you understand what I'm saying, so a lot of the time is that African mentality is like, oh, I'm older than you. I mean, you know that adage in Yoruba now, like what an old person sees, if a young child sees, he's going to go blind or whatever they, you know, it always plays a point, you know, because they always want to plan your life for you, rather than, like you said, it like you to understand your child and be like, what's the purpose of this kid? What's his interest? You know, how can I help him to reach his goals or attain his potential, stuff like that. We don't have that. It's changing now. And the second about you know, dating divorcee, I think it's just it just shows the kind of level we are still in that part of the world. Because over here, I mean, I think it was Samaria that says it. The major problem is, as long as you know bringing a toxic baby father, you know, like if I'm dating someone now. If I'm dating Samaria, for example, and let's say Samaria's got a kid, as long as the baby dad is not like a gangbanger that is going to come over and beat me up or whatever, who cares? You know, if you understand what I'm saying? Like over here, people don't really think about that. You know, you even see some situations where the current partner and the ex-partner, they will meet up in terms of, oh, I don't want you to discipline my child. If my child is being naughty, report him to me. You know, they would, you know, they will, even some. I mean, look. I know it's not a good reference, but look at Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and his ex-wife. They go on holiday together. You know, so it depends on, you know, how you sort things out. But, you know, but in Nigeria, you still got that kind of, you know, mentality, like, say, you know, it's not fresh off the block or whatever, you know, people. But that's all I've got to say, to be honest.
Sorry, can I say something real quick based on our parents' aspects?
All right.
Their influence. Okay, let me just make it quick. That example you gave is a typical example of what our parents, most of them, do. They want their children, they want their sons to come and erect buildings, you know, build structures in the village and wherever it is they like, just for the sake. The fact that they wake up in the morning and then they will come out and boast and tell, oh, that's Mama Ifani, whomever's mom, that's her son's house. Okay, this is this woman's son's house. This is what they want. If you build that in the city to them, I don't know if I'll call it selfishness or I will say it's their mentality. I don't know how to say it, or their ego, or their hierarchy. I mean, I don't know how to put it, but that's just what most of them want. They don't care where, if you build it in the big cities, to them, those places don't make sense. The one that they want to see are those ones that they will see near, the one they will pass by, and then people will say, yeah, that's her son's house. And that's selfishness, because you build those mansions there, you don't even live there, just roaches.
Sorry, Samaria. I think a lot of the problem as well is when you deep it, a lot of our parents, like, I mean, when you see DF, for example, now, not to rob his ego, you can tell that he loves what he's doing. He loves talking, he loves, you know, that's his passion. A lot of our parents their job is not their passion. It's basically because of, like, oh, you know, I'm academic, this group pays well. I mean, again, I'll use my personal story. Like, there was a time I had to tell my dad, like, listen, since I've known you, my dad is a psychiatrist. Every time you come home, you always complain about how busy it is. Whether when we're in Nigeria or whether you're in the UK. Clearly, you missed the calling somewhere in your life where you didn't follow your passion. You did something that you thought it was going to make you money, but you're not enjoying it. So why do you want me to go through that again? You know, it doesn't make any logical sense, you know, but I can see maybe, you know, you're coming from Africa where it's like things are hard. You want to do what you think is going to take you out of that poverty, but it doesn't really mean that's what you want to do. And you kind of translate that ideology to your kids as well, as you're raising them, like, oh, you know, you have to make a quick buck, you know, oh, you're good in this, you need to be an engineer, you need to be an architect because they pay a lot of money. This is the way out, you know, and there's loads of other things the kid can be doing that they probably will enjoy, you know. So that's what I wanted to add. So sorry.
My dad didn't make any decision for me. He worked with INEC at the time, you know, then, but he wasn't the one that told me go and do nursing. I chose to do nursing. In fact, it was my big brother that insisted, okay, I want you to go do nursing. So I'm not sure. My dad wasn't the type that had to tell or enforce his children on the exact thing or profession to follow. He didn't do that. Maybe lucky me. He only encouraged.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and your stories. God bless you. Look forward to being with you again same time tomorrow and also earlier on the day.
Thank you, DF.
Thank you, Daddy Freeze. Thank you, viewers.
Bye.
Bye.